Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be looking at how to add elements to an array. We're going to look at 4 different methods used to add elements to an array. The first method is push. So push is an array method used to add elements to the end of an array. Keyword end of an array. So it doesn't add elements to the beginning or to a certain position in the array. It adds elements to the end of the array. So here's the syntax for push. Array, the array you want to add elements to, dot push, and push accepts the item or items you want to add to the array. Let's say we have an array of countries. So this array has 3 items in it: France, Germany, and India. France, Germany, and India. Let's say we want to add China to the array. So this is how we are going to do it. Countries, which is the array, dot push, and the item we want to add, which is China. So let's see what this gives us. So we can see that China was added to the end of the array. Let's say it's not just China we want to add. Let's say we also want to add Nigeria to the list. So this is going to give us France, Germany, India, China, and Nigeria. So we've seen how to add just one element to the end of the array, and we've seen how to add 2 elements. So if we want to add more, we just need to separate the items with a comma. The next method we are going to talking about is the Unshift method. So what Unshift does is it adds item or items to the beginning of the array. So we can see the difference between the Unshift method and push method. The push method adds item or items to the end of the array, while the Unshift method adds item or items to the beginning of the array. So here is the syntax of the Unshift method. Array.Unshift, and it accepts the item or items we want to add to the array. So let's take an example. Let's say we have an array of colors. So in this array we have 2 items in the array, pink and red. And let's say we want to add black, purple, and yellow to the array. So all we have to do is colors, that is the name of the array, dot unshift, and the items we want to add. So here we specified that we want to add black, purple, and yellow. So let's see what this is going to output. So as we can see, it added black, purple, and yellow to the beginning of the array. If I had used push, you can see it added black, purple, and yellow to the end of the array. So that is how Unshift works. The next method we are going to be talking about is Splice. So Splice is an array method which is used to add, remove, or replace item or items at a certain position in an array. So keyword, I said push is used to add items to the end of an array. Unshift is used to add items to the beginning of an array. Splice is used to add, remove, or replace items at a certain position in an array. So here is the syntax. The syntax is array.splice, and it accepts 3 arguments. The first one is the index, the position. You can call it the index or the position in the array. The second one is how many items you want to remove from the array, starting from this position or starting from this index. The third one is the items you want to add at this position or starting from this position in the array. So let's see how that plays out. Let's say we have an array of animals. Sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. For the splice method, the index parameter is required, but the how many and the items that you want to add are optional parameters. So you can use the splice method without specifying the how many and the item you want to, and the item or items you want to add to the array. So let's just see how this plays out. So using splice without the how many and the items you want to add to the array. So let's say you just specify the index using the splice method. Let's see what this is going to output. So you can see this is the modified array. It contains only dog and cat. Let me tell you why. So this argument is the index or the position at which you want to remove items in an array. So if you just specify the index, it's going to start at position 2 or at index 2 and remove all the items to the right of it, including the item at position 2. So it's going to remove all the items to the right of position 2, including the item at position 2. So let's move a step further and add the how many arguments. So let's say we just want to remove 1. Let's see what this will output. So as you can see, it outputs dog, cat, and pig. So what this how many does is used to control the number of item the splice method removes. Recall that when we didn't add this, it removed all the items, including the item at the position that was specified. So now that we've added 1, so we're saying that no matter how many items are left starting from that position, just remove 1 from it, and it's going to remove the first one, which is the item at the position that was specified. So it's going to remove mouse. But if we specify 2, it's going to remove mouse and pig. Let's say there was even another item, it's going to leave that because we only said remove 2 items from the list. Now back to the main reason why we're here: how to add items to an array using splice. So let's say we want to add bear to the animals array. Bear. We want to add it at position 1, which currently cat is occupying. So let's say we want to add it at position 1. Let's say we don't want to remove any item. We don't want to remove anything. So let's see what this will output. So as you can see, bear now has an index of 1. So we shifted all the items starting from cats, which previously was at position of 1. We shifted it to the right so that bear can occupy that position. So let's say we have 2 items I want to add. Let's add deer, and let's see what this will output. So now you can see bear has an index of 1, bear has an index of 2, cat now has an index of 3. Let's say we don't even want cat. Let's say we want to remove cat, so that we'll just stick to having 5 elements in an array. Let's say we want to remove cat, so we can specify that at this position, which is at position 1, remove 1 item, which is going to be cat, because it removes the first item, not excluding the item that currently occupies that position. And then it adds bear starting from that position. So it adds bear at that position and deer at the next position, shifting other elements or other items to the right of it. What if we want to add an element or an item to the beginning of an array? Let's say we want to add just bare to the beginning of the array. Who can guess? Yes, you guessed correctly. You will just make this index 0, which specifies the beginning of the array. Then let's say we don't want to remove any element. So this is going to add bare to the beginning of the array. So we now have bear, dog, cat, mouse, and pig. So what if we want to add bear to the end of the array? Who can guess what we're going to do? Yes, you guessed correctly. This is going to be -1. So negative value defines the position from the end of the array. So pig is currently occupying a position of -1, mouse is occupying a position of -2, cat is occupying a position of -3, dog is occupying a position of -4. Also, dog is occupying a position of 0, cat is occupying a position of 1, mouse is occupying a position of 2, and pig is occupying a position of 3. So let's say we want to add bear to the end of the array. Who can guess what is going to happen? I know it is not exactly how we're going to, or what we expect, but let's see. So let's save this and see what is going to happen. Yes, I know almost everybody expected bear to be the last item in the array. So this is how this works. So we're telling Splice to add bear at the position of 1. Remember, when you add an item at a certain position, it shifts the item that was currently at that position and also all the items to the right of it to the right of the array. So this is exactly what's happened. I know we're expecting to shift it to the left, but no, it still shifts it to the right. So what it did is it put bear at the position of 1 at that position, but still, since we didn't tell it to remove pig, it shifted the pig to the right of it. So pig still has a position of -1. I know it's crazy, but if you really want bear to be the last, you have to do like a little manipulation, or you might just have to just remove pig. So now bear is the last. But if you still want pig to be in the array, you might have to do a little manipulation. So that is that for Splice. Another method of adding items to an array is using the index of the array. Let's say we have an array of electronics and we have just one item, which is TV, in the array. And we want to add another item to the array, for example, fridge. So I can, because we all know that for each item in an array, an index is attached to each one of them. So TV has an index of 0. The next item that we're going to add, if we add it to the end, is going to have an array of 1. So let's add fridge to position 1 in the array. Let's see what this is going to output. So this is the output of the array. We have TV at position 0 and we have fridge at position 1. So fridge has an index of 1. Let's say we want to add another electronic to the array. For example, freezer. So now we have TV, fridge, freezer. So these are the methods you can use to add item or items to an array. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson so far. See you in the next.